Welcome to another video. This is continuing my series of top songs. We're up to 1973 now. I'm going to do a couple of videos on this, possibly 3, 20 through to 1. This first one's going to cover 20 through to 11, and hope you enjoy it. So at number 20, Nutbush City Limits, a semi-autobiographical song written by Tina Turner, which commemorates her rural hometown of Nutbush in Haywood County, Tennessee. Originally released as a single on United Artists and recorded in August 1973, it's one of the last hits that husband and wife duo Ike and Tina Turner released together. Produced by Ike Turner, recorded Nutbush City Limits was recorded at their recording studio in Inglewood, California in May of that year. The song has inventive guitar sounds, a clavinet, a substantial Moog synthesizer solo by Ike, and some funky brass are included. None of the session musicians, however, were mentioned in the song credits. Probably got a lot to say about how Ike viewed these guys. It's been rumoured though for years that Mark Bolan from T-Rex played guitar on the track. His girlfriend at the time, Gloria Jones, who provided backing vocals for lots of Ike and Tina Turner material during the 60s, suggested that it was the case in a 2007 BBC 4 documentary, Mark Bolan, The Final Word. There are two guitars on this track, the fuzz rhythm in the centre that could be Bolan, and some wah-wah guitar in the right side, very typical of one James Lewis, an African American who was around quite a lot in studios. The single was a hit in various countries, peaking at number 11 on the Billboard R&B singles charts. It also hit number 4 in the UK singles charts, although I have to confess I didn't recall that when I was at the tender age of 19 years of age. It's also the lead single from the same album title, Nutbush City Limits, which was released in November of that year. However, following the couple's split, the song became a staple of Tina's live shows, where she reworked the funky studio version into a hard-driving rock and roll showstopper. Next up is 19 then. This is Wishing Well by the English-based band Free. It's a song that was written by the entire group about their close friend, one Bevan T. Woodhouse. Released in December 1972, but entered the charts in January the following year, reached number 7. The song's featured on the band's 6th and final studio album, Heartbreaker, and it was their final hit single before the group disbanded in 1973. Paul Kossoff and Simon Kirke moved on to Bad Company. Sorry, I got that wrong. Paul Rodgers and Simon Kirke moved on to Bad Company. The critics said this of the song: lyrically, the song can be interpreted in many ways, but it appears on the surface to be an angry message to a friend who's using heavy substances, abusing themselves considerably, and has one foot in the wishing well. This is possibly an analogy of one foot in the grave. Next to All Right Now, this is indeed the band's most important and perhaps finest moment. It's a good track. It's not one of their best, but for this year I had to include it. The personnel on the track, well, there was no Andy Fraser, he'd gone, but Rodgers, Kirke and Kossoff appear on this track alongside John Bundrick, nicknamed Rabbit, Tetsu Yamamanchi, Japanese musician, and on the congas was Reebok Kwaka Bash. Okay, good song. Wishing Well, Free. So to 18 then. This is Mind Games by John Lennon. Released as a single in 1973 on Apple Records. It was the lead single from the album the same day, and the UK single and album were issued simultaneously on the 16th of November 1973. It peaked at number 8 in the US Billboard Hot 100, and it peaked at 26 in the UK. This song began in 1969 and was originally titled Make Love Not War, a popular anti-war slogan at that time, which of course Lennon was heavily committed to. Another song, I Promise, contains the melody that would later appear on Mind Games. The original Leno demos for Make Love Not War and I Promise, recorded in 70, are available on his anthology. But Lennon finished writing the song after reading the book Mind Games, The Guide to Inner Space by Robert Masters and Gene Houston. I ain't read that. Later, Lennon encountered Masters in a restaurant and told him, "I'm one of your fans, you wrote Mind Games." This eloquent chat evoked a lingering hippie sentiments mixed with the evolving mysticism of the early 70s. In keeping with the original theme, the lyrics advocate unity, love and a positive outlook. We sure could do with some of that at the moment. According to Billboard, the song asserts that positive thoughts are the answer to happiness. The lyric, "Yes is the answer," is a nod to his wife Yoko Ono's art piece that brought them together originally. The song was recorded as Lennon took a hiatus for 18 months, a lost weekend it was described, with one May pang. Although it did not involve producer Phil Spector, it's nonetheless revealed that what Lennon had learnt from working with him. And the band, well, Lennon on vocals, guitar, slide guitar and clavichord, David Spinoza on guitar, Ken Asher on mellotron, Gordon Edwards bass guitar, and Jim Keltner, yeah, surprise, surprise, he turns up on drums. Yeah, I do like this song. I'm not a great Lennon fan, but this is one of his better ones, and it's at number 18 in my countdown. 70s is If You Don't Know Me By Now. Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes were the original singers of this. It's a song written by Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff and recorded by the Philadelphia music group mentioned before. It was their first hit after being released as a single and topped the US R&B charts. It was released in 72, but I became familiar with it in 1973. Originally little for Patti LaBelle, but they never recorded it, her trio, and the song composers Gamble and Huff gave it to Melvin and the Blue Notes, which featured Teddy Pendergrass on lead vocals, and background vocals were also included by producers Kenny Gamble, Leon Huff, Carl Helm and Bunny Ziegler. In addition to the single release, the track was included on their debut album I Miss You. Patti LaBelle later made the song part of her concert repertoire, and a live version appears on her 1985 album Patti. If You Don't Know Me My Now has since been recorded by a number of other artists, most notably the English pop and soul band Simply Red, and that's a great version, by the way, and it went to number 1 in the Billboard Hot 100 in 1989. Okay then, I'll put a slide up for the details of the personnel. I really love this song. I love that soulful feel, and it's number 17 in my countdown. So to 16, this is Radar Love by the Dutch rock band Golden Earring. The single version of Radar Love reached 13 in the US Billboard, and it hit the top 10 in the UK as well. The lyrics, the song is written from the point of view of a man who has some sort of psychic connection with his lover, that radar love. He senses that she urgently wants him to be with her, and in his haste he drives recklessly, causing a fatal accident. But even in the afterlife, the song's narrator and his lover still have radar love. Like other famous songs from the era, Highway Star, Stairway to Heaven, Bohemian Rhapsody, Radar Love is composed as a suite with several distinctive and quite different sections, although the tone throughout remains similar. The intro, according to bass player Reiners Gerritsen, was inspired by Carlos Santana. Possibly, I can't hear that. During the chorus, the band is joined by a brass section, and the song references Brenda Lee's Coming On Strong from her 1966 forgotten song, certainly forgotten by me. It's regarded as a rock masterpiece from its hooky, chugging bass line to its simple but unmistakable riffs in its catchy anthemic chorus. And I saw this band in the early 70s, and they were a great live act, very visual. A great radio song for driving, of course, and it was featured in several films, including Baby Driver in 2017 and The Tender Bar, which I haven't seen, in 2021. Okay, so there we are. That's my 16th number in my countdown. It's Radio Love by Golden Earring. At number 15, Live and Let Die by Paul McCartney and Wings. It's the theme song, of course, from the James Bond movie released in 1973, and it was written by Paul and his wife Linda. It reunited McCartney with former Beatle producer George Martin, who produced the song and arranged the orchestral arrangements. Wings recorded it during a session for Red Rose Speedway in October 1972, and it was also the first rock song to open a Bond film. Upon release, it reached number 2 in the Billboard Hot 100 and 9 in the UK singles charts. And it became the first Bond theme song to be nominated for the Academy Award for Best Original Song. It won the Best Arrangements Accompanying Vocalist at the 16th Annual Grammy Awards in 1974. This song was performed by Wings regularly in their live set, and McCartney continues to play it on his solo tours now. And I actually caught it last week when he played live at the Maracanã Stadium in Rio de Janeiro. At the grand old age of 82, is it now, or 83, he looked immaculate, and Live and Let Die was part of the set. Often used pyrotechnics earlier on when it came out in the live show. McCartney asked to be sent a copy of Fleming's novel, and he wrote the song and went in the next week and did it. He described it as a job of work for me, in a way, because writing a song around a title like that's not the easiest thing going. I can imagine. Originally, Saltzman, movie producer, wasn't interested in having Wings to perform the song. He had Shirley Bassey or Thelma Houston in mind, but Martin said McCartney wouldn't allow the song to be used unless it was sang by him and Wings, and so eventually he got his way. Wonder why. And the recording contract specified that McCartney would perform the title song. Okay, great song, Live and Let Die, Paul McCartney and Wings. It's my number 15. Number 14 is A Hard Rain's Gonna Fall by Brian Ferry. Of course, this song was a song written by Bob Dylan in the summer of '62, and he recorded it that year on his second album, The Freewheeling, which came out in '63. I'm not a great fan of Dylan, but I really love this version. Its lyrical structure is based on the question and answer pattern of the traditional British ballad. The song symbolised imagery in the style of Arthur Rimbaud communicating suffering, pollution and warfare. This is all relevant to Dylan, but of course when we jump forward to Brian Ferry's version, of course it's those smouldering, seductive vocal delivery by Ferry that catches your ear. A great song, great cover version, and on the recording, alongside Ferry, there was one Eddie Jobson on keyboards and synthesizer, and he played a bit of violin. Phil Manzarella from Roxy Music was there, of course, and the arrangements, lots of horns on this, and one name came to mind, one Henry Lowther, who I saw live with the Keith Hartley band back in 1970. A bit of useless information there. So we're now up to 13 in my top 20 songs for 1973. This is the first video, 20 through 11. This song's written and performed by American singer and songwriter Carly Simon, and it was released in November 72, but again I became familiar with it in early 73, and it reached #1 in the US, Canada, Australia and New Zealand. The song was nominated for Song of the Year, Record of the Year and Best Female Pop Vocal Performance at the 16th Annual Grammy Awards. It's a critical profile of a self-absorbed lover about whom Simon asserts, "You're so vain, you probably think the song is about you." The title's subject's identity has long been a matter of speculation, with Simon stating that the song refers to 3 men. Only one of them she has named publicly, one Warren Beatty. Yeah, he had quite a checkered career attracting the ladies in the 70s. The distinctive bass guitar intro is played by Klaus Voormann, who played with John Lennon, of course, and the strings arranged and orchestrated by Paul Buckmaster, who appeared on so many records. I recall him on Pink Floyd, I believe. Simon, of course, plays piano on the track, and it was reviewed, the single, calling it Carly's most commercial song yet. Brilliant lyric and melody, and stunning string arrangements by her as well. Long before Simon recorded what would be known as You're So Vain, the song was titled Bless You Ben. The first words were, "Bless you Ben, you came in when nobody else left off." So Simon felt dissatisfied with this lyric and put the song away until she attended a party one night, and where a famous guest appeared. A friend told Simon the male guest enters as if he was walking onto a yacht. I wish I could do that. Simon incorporated the words into the melody of Bless You Ben, and as she was composing it on her piano, the song took on a whole new meaning. The identity of the male guest, of course, still a mystery. So there we have it. It's an immediately attractive song when it comes on the radio. It's definitely a track that I love, and it's number 13 in my countdown. It's You're So Vain by Carly Simon. 2 more to go then. Number 12, You Are the Sunshine of My Love by the irrepressible Stevie Wonder. It was a song that Wonder took to #1, and it was the 3rd #1 single for him on the Billboard 100 charts. He won a Grammy Award for Best Male Pop Vocal Performance, and he was also nominated for Record of the Year and Song of the Year. And of course it came from the fantastic 5-star album Talking Book, released a year before. The first 2 lines of the song are sung not by Wonder, however, but by one Jim Gilstrap, and Lanny Groves sings the next 2 before Wonder takes over, and Gloria Barley also provide backing vocals on this. The single version of the song differs from the album's version with the addition of horns to the mix, and Wonder, of course, delivers that stirring ballad performance. What a wonderful song this is, and it's at number 12 in my countdown. You Are the Sunshine of My Love by Stevie Wonder. So to close this first video of my top songs for 1973, I've chosen the Isley Brothers song Summer Breeze. Now I could have chosen Who's That Lady, but I don't want to have 2 cuts from the same artist in these videos. I went for this one. It was, of course, originally recorded by America's soft rock duo Seals and Croft, and that was from their 4th album. But I chose the Isley Brothers version, which came on their album 3+3, released in 1973. And why? Well, his name's Ernie Isley, and he played lead guitar on this song, and it makes me weep with joy. Inspired by the one and only Jimi Hendrix, of course, and some great vocals. It's as good as it gets when it comes to the Isley Brothers' later period, not their early 60s Tamla period. It's my number 11. And of course on this album we had the family, 5 Isleys on it, plus the cousin Chris Jasper, and I've got this album 3+3, and it's basically their best album. So there we have it. That's my top 10, 20 to 11 from 1973. The second video will go into that top 10. I should have said top 20. We got a bit mixed up here. So the first video, 20 through 11, and the second video will be due out in about a week, I guess. So that's my take on the top songs for 1973.